Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. This is ZealZaddy. My name is Scott, and my pronouns are he, him. This episode is titled Brooding, and we are playing Old Gods of Appalachia horror campaign. You can follow us everywhere that there is at ZealZaddy, and I mean, we're on a lot of the socials. On TikTok, though, it's ZealZaddy RPG. Son of a bitch, I can't get that right. You can check out our D&D supplements and our Cypher supplements on DriveThruRPG. We are in the midst of a couple of projects that are getting ready to go out. You can use our favorite command during the show called clip, just exclamation point clip, to save little clips for us, things that you like. The opening and closing music is by OBP Musical, who I happen to love their music, their composition, their singing, what have you. This piece was composed by Nico Rhodes and sung by Melody McClellan. Wow, I got her name right. It's so hard to say with a southern accent. Old Gods of Appalachia was created by Monte Cook Games. The game itself was. It is based on the podcast Old Gods of Appalachia by DeepNerd Media, who we also love. And Old Gods of Appalachia is a horror campaign that may contain material not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. I have a little frog in my throat tonight. You're often finding new places in Appalachia, locations that a human ain't seen in, well, maybe never. And Guilty Hole is surrounded by those sorts of places. Let's take Foxfire Bald, for instance. It is very rarely seen by the eyes of people, not because they don't want to get there, but because it's hard to find. But it's beautiful when you find it. A place of enchant and beauty that's barely known. Also a place of enchanting. Also not very well known. Some creatures do too, though. They, at least to some people, some things just exist for reasons beyond our understanding. Some creatures do too, even those brought to town by ourselves.
And back down the midnight green, searching the dark side of the mountain. Through my bones and hair and blood, words rise and cold snatched from my mouth to sink them into the cold black mud.
Hey y'all, I'm Kayla. I play Tegan in the stream. You can find me as just K in some variation on social medias, depending on when I joined that social media platform. If you follow the Linktree link, it will take you to all the social media that just got dropped in the chat. You may also recognize me as the general manager for UL Publishing. Keep an eye on all of those things too, because we are getting ready to wrap up Horror of the Lighted Plane. And we're getting ready to do more announcements around Wild Space as well, which is our next setting. So just keep an eye out on there. And I hope I don't blow anything up tonight, y'all.
I kind of hope you do.
Hello, I'm Brandon, playing Professor Erwin Hayes, longtime GM of Old Gods and frequent convention goer with Monte Cook Games. Happy to play with you all, and thanks for coming.
My name is Nekola. You can find me on all the socials at Nekola the Druid. I typically am that girl that runs the charity streams that are unnecessarily extravagant, but you can also find me over at Diversity Saves, 501c3 nonprofit built by creators from marginalized communities for creators of marginalized communities, and you can find out more about us at diversitysaves.org. But tonight I am Benny, a hardy explorer who becomes the beast.
Evening, family. My name's Robby, and I am super excited to continue playing the part of Walter Gwynnon, the perceptive beekeeper who masters a swarm. Um, I'm just a longtime DM and previous podcaster, and now I get to play on one as a player, which is super exciting and love it. Love every minute of it. This has been an extremely fun uh, start and continuing of this adventure in these hills and hollers, and I'm happy that you are here.
All right. When we last left, though, we had a very unusual sighting. Well, Tegan had a very unusual sighting of Benny just sort of meandering out of the forest. Why don't we start from there? You're all together, at least partially.
Kid, what you doing out here? You should have just, it looks like you maybe gotten something. Maybe we should get you back before Father B gets, more like himself.
Okay, if you say so. If you say so. Okay.
What does Benny look like currently? Is there anything that we notice?
I think
Different.
only Tegan can see Benny, right?
That's right. Okay, thank you.
So you just see Tegan speaking to the wind.
Tegan, what are you doing?
What do you mean what I'm doing? The kid's right here. Obviously, she got into some shrooms or something, because she looks like she's very much gone.
You look like you've gotten into some shrooms yourself. You're talking to nothing but the wind.
She's literally right here. I don't. What do you mean you can't see her? She's right there. Yeah, she's right, waving and everything.
I shake my head and I pass my hand through right there.
Did I notice it pass through, or did I just assume he missed Benny?
When you're hearing some things on the wind, though, it's kind of unusual. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what it is at all, but it's like there was maybe Benny is talking to you or something.
Benny, are you there?
See, I ain't she's right here, Doc. I don't know how many times I gotta say it.
I'm right here.
Well, okay. I think you might be onto something then. So she's invisible.
She ain't invisible. She right here. Use your eyes, Doc. Jeez, don't you read for a living?
This ain't making a lick of sense. What are my bees doing? Because if I recall correctly, one of them was gyrating a certain way and pointing in a direction.
It was doing the dance of direction that they do when they're talking to each other, telling each other where to go find particular kinds of flowers to visit, and it is doing something like that.
What was it? Did it just so happen to be pointing at this empty space that Tegan is pointing at?
It is. It is in that direction.
So a handful of bees come out and they're doing their little twerk and dance and whatever.
Yep. Well, they're actually talking to the one that had been sent out to follow Benny.
Oh.
And Benny is explaining to them a direction, and you just happen as master of a swarm to have some understanding of what that means.
So I'm kind of...
And there ain't no flowers out right now. It's the middle of winter.
Certainly not in this empty space that you are hugging either. This is... I'm lost for words. Benny!
As we established last session, sticks are good for a lot of things, so Hagen's gonna just pick up his stick. And she's gonna try and poke the Betty that she sees now that everyone's like, we don't see it. What are you talking about? Just be like, oh.
And while you're standing around out there, and there are still some people kind of meandering about that are, well, plumb drunk from drinking, you know, the continuation of the last week's party. And the log lady walks by, you know, she comes by and she carries a log with her all the time that she always tells people her husband is, when he died, his spirit inhabited the log, and she's always talking to that thing like there's actually a spirit in there. And she looks over at all you and like, that girl needs to get back with herself. There ain't, you know. And then she turns and sort of drunkenly stumbles forward. Sorry, folks. I gotta get to TJ's. Gotta get some hair of the dog. And she steps up on the deck and starts walking back to.
When I look at her, do I see something attached to the log, or do I just see a lady with a log? And I'm like,
a lady with a log.
Okay. Okay, so I think, and just swishes the stick through Benny a few more times. I think our child went and had some of the mushroom thingies they were gifted. We should probably find the more like physicality version of Benny.
That stick went through me.
Swish, 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 swish.
Huh.
Ladies, I don't know, and I'm not sure if they understand me at this point or not, but is there any chance you could point us in the direction of where her actual body is at?
And the bees start buzzing up into the air and start flying in a direction.
All right, well, come on.
So we're following bees to find our invisible friends.
I
Body?
mean, honestly, not the weirdest thing that's happened in these woods.
Okay, I'm into it. Let's go.
Okay, Benny, let's go. And I'm just gonna like start herding a cat in the direction.
Benny follows pretty easily. Like, she also is a little bit ahead. Like, ends up floating a few steps ahead, as if she is also being pulled in that direction.
Yeah, and you know, even though it's cold out, you're not tired or nothing. You're just not sleepy,
Chill.
not hungry, nothing. Just feeling calm, which is an unusual thing, of course, for Benny. Benny is never a calm person, so there's definitely something off about that. And you start following the bees, and they start going through the woodlands, and they start heading up a hill that y'all, who would know that? Anybody have any understanding of the history of this town?
I do. I am trained in history.
So you would know that the hill you're going up is one that it is called the Guilty Hole Hill because there is a mine on it that was, I mean, it's been abandoned, of course, but it was a mine that was an illegal mine that broke into the mine of the company, and they were stealing coal out of it and making a living selling coal off on the side that was not theirs. So it was an illegal mine that this town was named after. And there's an old house on that hill. It's abandoned at this point. It's kind of fallen apart. And the bees kind of go buzzing past, and they kind of buzz around that area. They seem to kind of avoid it. Kind of like what you did with the tree. Like there was something unnatural about the direction. They chose a direction to avoid a space.
If I was y'all, I wouldn't get too close to that house over there. This is Guilty Hole Hill. Y'all ever been up here before?
Nope. None of y'all
So
have.
good about it. I mean, bad about it.
I don't know all that much about the house itself, but I know that this whole hill is kind of steeped in, we'll say, illegal activity. And probably some dark stuff's happened up here. So my bees are avoiding it. I'd suggest you avoid it as well.
Okay.
It for later.
And then
That way.
the bees, not caring about the high hills and whatnot, started going down the other side of the hill. And then you go into a holler and they start flying. And you realize you're walking quite a bit of a ways. And then in the middle of the holler, there's another hill that they start to go up, which none of y'all have really seen or even noticed much. But as you get near the top of the hill, you start to see a glowing in the forest. And the glowing is all around a patch of grass that is empty. There are no trees or anything on it, just grass and dirt, some few rocks, and just thousands and thousands of mushrooms that are all glowing with a glow you ain't never seen from nothing living before.
Y'all think this was the kind of mushroom that Benny got into?
Let's see. Glowing mushrooms, secluded in the woods by a creepy thing the bees avoid to get here. I'm gonna go with yeah.
Creeping around in the
Okay.
mushrooms, you see some animals scurrying about under. These mushrooms are pretty tall. They're tall enough that they could hide a small dog or cat underneath the hoods of them. And you can see there's movement. You know, they just kind of move sometimes, and you can see it follows a pattern like things are crawling about underneath them.
Watch your step.
I'm just gonna like drop to the ground and like tilt my head so I'm under the mushrooms.
It's
Just
a
see what's
forest
up there.
of mushroom stems coming up with a canopy of bioluminescent caps, and even the stems have some glow, but not like the caps. And then suddenly you come face to face with an animal that looks a bit like a dog, but ain't no dog, and it's staring at you eye to eye.
You wouldn't happen to know where Benny is, would you?
And it licks your face. It's a little fox.
Okay.
An orange fox under there, and it licks your face, and then it kind of jumps. You all see a fox jump out from the mushrooms and land back in them and scurry back under and scooch away.
That wasn't helpful. I'm just gonna pop back up. They're all foxes.
Can Benny hate Benny float to like the direction of her body?
You get kind of a sense of the direction. You're not sure where, but it's kind of there, like that direction. And it's across.
I think
the
she
field.
like aimlessly just floats like that direction.
So I think Tegan's solution to not being able to see under the mushrooms is just going to be to army crawl under the mushroom caps in the direction she sees Betty going and like pop up and make sure she's still going in the same direction.
Does
And-
Tegan have like the forethought to like mask up? Oh no.
No.
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not at
I'm very
all.
worried about that. Anyway.
What are you doing, Professor Hayes and Walter?
I'm probably looking for my bees, seeing if they're still heading in a particular direction.
They're buzzing about in a circle around this area, it seems now.
Mm.
And
Unable to see. Oh, go ahead.
or when you start hearing like things on the wind, kind of like words, but you're not sure they're words. They don't seem to. It's not like language, or maybe it's language, not quite sure, but it's sort of hovering under in your ear, just
Benny,
and this
Ben,
whole place
is that
seems
you?
to-
That parcel tongue?
I'm right here.
and it just this whole place seems to reverberate with sound, like you're being spoken to.
I'll try to repeat the words I'm hearing. Make them out. Try to form anything I can.
All right, can you make me I would say a language roll.
Okay.
I don't think you have anything else quite perfect for it. I think language is your best bet.
All right, and I'll put an effort into it as well.
All right.
12.
You're not quite sure. You can't quite get letters or words right, but you know that it's words on the air that oddly no one else seems to be reacting to it, only you.
Can I discern it's not, since I'm using language, maybe that it's not English? It's maybe not Benny?
Yeah, it's definitely a language, but not a language that you know much of, but you do recognize the familiar sounds of some of those words from your book. Like you're not sure what they mean, but you know you've heard a few of those things coming from the recitations of what you could figure out from the book, especially when you're around that tree that you heard things.
Yeah, that's not Benny. And I start glancing around, almost ignoring everything else going on around me, looking for a tree or some other out of place thing beyond the mushrooms that stands out in this clearing.
And as you're walking, you kind of realize there's a bit of a cloud in the mushroom area, kind of coming from the mushrooms. Not so much a cloud as much as puffs of the mushrooms kind of releasing their gas or whatever it is mushrooms release. You're not sure exactly. I don't think you're that kind of scientist. Walt, you do see that, though. Every now and then, one of the mushrooms kind of puffs a cloud around it. And of course, Tegan crawling around, it keeps puffing around her as she skitters around. And Benny, you kind of walk in a direction, and Tegan, you find laying in the mushrooms underneath the canopy of them, a fox laying on its side, almost like it's dead, but it ain't dead.
Use the stick I always carry with me. I'm gonna just give it a little couple pokes.
And its eyes open wide, and it jumps up quickly. And it nips at your hand that you had the stick with. It doesn't bite it, but it nips at it, and then it backs away, and there's a little bit of a growl, and it kind of stumbles back a few feet, and it kind of falls on its side. Again.
I'm gonna take off my vest.
And when you get there, it's so funny because you thought there was only one there, and now you realize there are three. And they're identical, like exactly the same. They even move exactly the same. And Benny arrives right behind you, kind of standing in a spot near the foxes.
Any idea why there are foxes in no human body, Benny?
I don't remember.
Okay. So let me and I'm gonna touch a mushroom and then pop my head up and use head magic to like mark where me and the current foxes are,
And
which
when
is
you
like
do
a different color.
When you do that, you you lift your head out of the mushrooms. Walt, you see her lift her head out of the mushrooms. Her pupils are dilated so fine. There are colors in the sky you have never seen before in your life. And I mean, just shades of magenta and sky blue. And it's it's at night. And the sky is like on fire with beauty and color. And the trees around the bald, they seem to reach in and over, creating a canopy that's sort of reaching and they move in the wind like dancers. Oh my gosh, it is just a beautiful sight. And you're not sure, you've kind of forgot why you looked up, like what you were doing there.
Do I have I guess how affected am I, as I have living off the land, which gives me a resistance to the effects of natural poisons and natural diseases.
I'm going to give you a hint that so do I.
I would give you the benefit of the spores not have an effect on you right now.
Okay.
At least for now. Who knows how long?
He didn't eat them.
Yeah.
So am I able to decipher what Tegan thinks she drew?
Tegan looks like someone who has participated in activities that would even be considered dangerous by T.J. Booker.
Tegan, are you all right?
I can taste colors, guys.
Oh no.
You're making it so hard to stay in character right now.
I taste the colors.
Walter, I think we need to get her out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Tegan up and throw her over my shoulder.
All right.
No, wait, the bodies
take
are
it
over
up.
there. You need to. They're there.
I give her the benefit of the doubt and I start following where she's pointing.
And you get over there, and there's underneath some of the mushrooms. There is a fox, a young fox, as a matter of fact, a kid, and it is laying on its side like it's dead, but it ain't dead. You see its eyes blink open for a moment and then go closed really slowly.
I know this is gonna sound weird, but we are in the woods, and this is the green. Is that one? And just like points at the kid. That one.
Being trained,
Benny also knows this is her body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
being trained at working with animals, am I able to glean any? Am I able to make the connection between Benny and Fox and? Wait a minute, what?
I mean, that would be a stretch.
I would agree.
But the fox does look ill or something.
That thing looks sick. It might be rabid.
I had already started taking my vest off to bundle it up just because it's a wild animal. So I'm going to still try and finish taking my vest off while over Walter's shoulder. And just like hit at him to use the vest.
All right. I scoop it up and also throw that over my shoulder.
Benny, when that gets thrown over Walt's shoulder, the direction that your body was in has moved. It is kind of a little over that way, a little more now, and you know.
Huh.
Maybe you need to touch noses. You need to touch noses.
Okay.
Noses lead to the spirit. They're really important for some reason. You do need to touch noses.
Okay. And Benny floats up and behind Walter and just tries to touch noses.
and you touch noses, and your nose kind of goes into the
Through.
fox's nose, right? It sort of, it's weird. It's like when Tegan was putting a stick through you.
Hmm. I don't think that worked.
We need glue.
Okay.
Glue sounds like what we need. Also, more of these spores.
I don't know. Listen, how about we take it, Tegan, as much as I hate to say it, here, and I grab a mushroom and I hand it to her.
Yeah!
No.
Listen, I think we need to go pay Gazzy another visit.
Gazzy!
This is turning into a relationship with Gazzy. Like Walter is just a paranoid dude who just needs to go to the hospital all the time.
Yep, for anything but a bee sting, you're at the hospital.
We should also, and she's just gonna like take a little vial and like tink pollen into it and close it, and then also put the mushroom in the other pocket. I bet you Gazzy could sew them together, like that one story, the sewing of the like wood, and the body back together.
Yeah, I think
Hockey pan or whatever it's called.
I think you need to take a rest. Why don't you take a nap while you're up there?
She might be tanked.
Yeah, there's smells you ain't never smelled that are just amazing, and the things you hear, like when there's a bird, it just sounds like it's right next to you, singing its song to you. It's Tegan, of course. It is unlike anything you have ever experienced. Whatever's happening here, it is magical and enchanted. That's for sure. And you're on mute.
Right now, Walt.
Oh, now you're not.
I'm one with the universe, Walt. What question do you have?
Yeah, I remember my younger days too.
There is something about this place, I will say. Something on the wind. It's quite remarkable.
Do my bees have any reaction to this fox being over my shoulder?
Yeah, they're back on you. They're back on your beard.
But they're not like trying to get away from the fox or going to the fox. They're just on me now.
Nope, not at all.
Well, my girls seem to have calmed down. Looks like we got what we came for with this fox.
Walt, you gotta ask your universe question before it's too late.
Well, and it takes a dark turn immediately because Walt has asked the universe many questions. And the first question that comes to Walt's mind is, where's my family? Does your universe know that?
Oh no, let me ask you.
I take it the
Yes.
universe didn't answer.
Yes, they're alive. The universe says they're alive.
Oh no, don't get false hope.
Yeah. All right, Tegan. Sure.
It's not me. It's the universe. Didn't you hear those voices?
I don't hear a damn thing.
Doc knows what I'm talking about, though.
Yes. The universe. It's a magical thing. You have to forgive her tomorrow.
And you start realizing it is starting to get very late. The moon is starting its descent, so you're way past the middle of the night. You're hitting
Oh no.
the beginnings of morning. And you're probably a couple hours from getting back to town. And not the easiest traipse through these forests. You got to go down a hill and up a hill and down a hill again, only just to get to the bridge to get to town.
Now hear me out. We can sleep in the mushrooms.
I don't know if I like that worse or the house worse.
I was gonna say, what about the house? It's dark. It's surely less dangerous than this place at night.
I don't trust it, Doc. There's something about it. It gives me and my girls the EBGBs.
EBGB.
The EBBBs.
Yeah.
I wonder if heebie-jeebie sounds like it came from that era. I don't know if it did, but it sure sounds like it.
Well, I guess we could sleep out here and get eaten by foxes or wolves.
Man, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, especially to you ladies. But we might need some cover. Listen, we need to be very careful at this place.
I could set up. I totally
no
can set up
response.
alarms. The universe will tell me where to set up alarms.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be a whole hell of a lot of help, but sure.
Yeah, we'll be fine. The universe is looking out for us.
In fact, I'm actually in the back of my mind, whether this is Walt or Robby thinking right now, wondering what kind of ridiculous mechanical mechanisms could be created under the influence of these mushrooms.
That's where Tegan's mind is at too.
I want to see where it goes.
So you're going to traipse back to the house on Guilty Hole Hill?
As much as I hate to say it.
All right. So that gets you about halfway back to town. So you're about an hour out of town. You get to the edge of the property, and the bees kind of dig into your beard a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
And from this side, you can see behind the house that there is a mine opening. Not a big one. The wooden structure right in front of a hill or a hole that goes into a rock. And it is, even with the sun coming up, it is pitch black inside there. And then there's the house next, a little bit out. It's on the back of the property that the house is on. A door kind of in the wind.
Perfectly harmless. Not scary at all.
Not trying to convince himself of something.
For some reason, I think we should definitely use the house and not the. I don't think we should go anywhere near that coal mine. You see, I don't know if y'all know this, but that used to be a mine that was dug into to steal coal from the actual coal mine, and they didn't take too kindly to them dealings, and I don't know that I want to find what's down there.
Probably a good idea considering our luck lately.
Well, your luck has been pretty great with the whole universe and everything.
I mean, the universe has so much to say if you just listen.
By the way, what does the wind taste like these days?
It is cold, so you're catching mostly the frigidness. It is not snowy, but it is dry.
Tastes like spearmint.
Yeah.
And as you get to the edge of the property, you feel the fox in the bag not the bag, in the jacket start to just move a little bit.
Tegan, can you see what that fox is doing?
Fox, do you speak with the universe too? What are you doing?
and it speaks to you and talks to you about the beauty of trees and the taste of a bird just caught and all the things that you kind of expect a fox to think about.
So wise for its age. Although I wouldn't want to eat a bird that way.
And Benny is just following seemingly Walt. Her
I
eyes are
don't see
kinda
this
glazed
though.
over.
I don't. I
Only Tegan
don't
does.
see it. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Penny,
Hmm?
Penny, why did we pick up a fox, Penny?
I thought this was
We
Benny.
have
Who
to-
are you pointing to? Sorry.
We have to help the fox.
Benny, where is your body, Benny?
My body is the fox.
Are we all the fox?
You might be a fox.
I think am I a fox? Walter, am I a fox?
What the fox? Oh, no, Tegan. Come on, let's get you inside. And I take the fox and Tegan and Benny apparently and the doctor and head inside.
Yeah, you step up on the porch and every step. And the door, you pull open the door and it's dark inside, of course. It's abandoned, so there ain't much in there. There's, a mantle where there was at one point a fireplace. There's it looks like some kids have come in here and hung out a couple of times. There's some leftover and broken cans of beer and some bottles that are empty in the corner. There's a stairway that goes up. The wood itself is squeaky. The floorboards, a lot of them. But there's also a hay-like mattress, broken and torn, but someone had pulled it down to the first floor, and it is leaning on a wall.
That
No,
ain't
like-
how you sleep.
I'm gonna kick the mattress down to the floor if that's a possibility, and basically just
Yeah,
huck Tegan and the fox onto it.
yeah. All right,
Doc,
put
you
them
want to
on.
watch the ladies for a minute? I'm gonna go start a fire in the fireplace.
Sure, certainly.
Where are you gonna get wood? You're gonna get just some kindling from outside or something?
I guess I'd first check and see if there was anything in the wood store there next to it, probably.
Let me see. There's a little bit, not great, pretty old, and but it ain't got no green to it, so there's a little bit, probably enough to get a fire for a few hours.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start that, and once we get settled, maybe go out and grab some more.
All right. So you get it started, and a fire comes up. Not a roaring fire. It don't get that big. It kind of feels like the fire is held low, lower than it ought from the amount of wood you put in. You're starting to hear things again in here, Professor Hayes. There's conversation going on with you or something. Someone's trying to tell you something. All right.
What do you want? I just shout out loud.
What are you going on about?
The voices. Can you not hear them?
I don't hear nothing but that fox snoring.
Well, Tegan may be snoring too now.
I would say it was the mushrooms, but I heard it before, even in town. There's something here trying to communicate. It's trying to tell me something.
And
It's familiar.
the fox, after a little bit, starts to stir a little while you're setting up the fire and whatnot. Taking your the fireplace, man, the fire is beautiful. You're half asleep, half awake, and you just get that. You're in that twilight sleep where just things are just amazing tonight, different than anything you ever seen. When it crackles, you hear them like fireworks. The little bits of crackle on the fire itself, and you see Benny kind of go sit on the fox, like the foxes and Benny's are in the same space.
Feel like you need to try and ask the universe to like
Glue you together.
let the universe be your glue.
What do I? Oh, what?
You gotta want it, Penny. You gotta let the universe be your glue.
Okay. Universe, will you glue me? I don't think it worked.
Really want it, Penny. Be the fox. Think about what the fox says. Be the fox. Be the fox, Penny.
I think we may need to consider that Hagen has just been seeing an invisible Benny, this hallucination this whole time, and maybe
Can we just
maybe
grab
this is
some
also-
random fox?
Yeah.
Tegan, are you sure that you're seeing Benny?
Yes, I see Benny just like I saw the thing outside Ma and Pa's window. See right there. See right there.
Benny, Benny, I feel ridiculous saying it and doing this, but Benny, if you're here, can you move something?
No.
I
She
wish I
says
could hear that.
she says no.
That's awful inconvenient.
Oh, wait, Benny, hold out your hand to something small. And I'm gonna low key use draw item whenever she's holding her hand out.
It's probably just like a stone that's on the ground next to the mattress.
Mhm,
She just kind of like holds her hand out.
mhm.
And Tegan, you make it move.
Yeah.
So a stone moves on the ground, untouched by anyone.
Do you see that, Doc?
Benny's here with us. The universe is trying to tell you something.
Did I
Gotta-
do that?
You gotta listen. gotta listen to the universe, guys.
I didn't know I could do that.
Well, I'll be.
The fox starts to stir and wake up a little bit. Its eyes open up after this is like after an hour of sitting in the warmth of the fire. And Benny, you feel like a connection to the body again, like there's some kind of maybe the universe is giving you the glue. Who knows? And it kind of stumbles a bit, and it leaves your spirit when it does so. And Tegan, you're starting to kind of lose the beauty of the colors and sounds. They're starting to come down to awful normalcy.
Sucks more than normal.
And after a little bit of time, Benny, you get this pull. Like you feel yourself being pulled to the fox.
Benny follows it.
And it kind of walks
She's just
around
kind
the
of
room.
floating.
Walt, you see the fox kind of walking in like wide circles around the room, sort of panting and almost like it's really thirsty, and it's like an ill animal would do a lot of times.
Y'all, I'd be real careful about getting near that thing. I think we might have picked up a rabid one. And
I think it's just the shrooms. I'm also really thirsty.
I guess in order to protect the group from it like running and jumping and biting anybody, I kind of scoop up the fox and I'm like trying to comfort it a little bit, like
Don't let it bite you.
And it kind
you
of
say let it bite
bit.
me.
Don't let it bite you.
Oh.
Benny, the
Careful.
fox now is right there in Walt's, or in the air with Walt holding it.
I think Benny tries to reaches out to touch.
And when
Touch
you
the
do,
fox.
your hand doesn't go through it so much as it connects, and you feel it. And a little light starts coming in from the window outside.
Benny leans in and touches noses.
And when you do, your nose sticks to its nose. And it's like... and your hand is stuck to it. And Tegan, you see Benny is like changing form.
Mm.
And it is a gory and gross transformation like you ain't never seen nothing have, where the human form of Benny slowly morphs into the form of a fox over 5 or 10 minutes.
Calm down off these shrooms. It's not great, y'all.
And then suddenly, Benny, you are looking out from Walt's arms, and you feel nauseous and ill and exhausted.
Sorry, I was about to say something really stupid. Not necessary. Anyways, moving on. Little fox Benny, kind of okay, but in all serious, what noise do fox make? Like a little
Like that kind of stuff. Like, there you go. Whatever that is. That'll work.
I think that she also weekly, very weekly, because she's very tired, tries to do that thing where cats are trying to get out of your arms, but it's so weak. It's
You
takes
feel that,
nothing
Walt.
to stop.
Yeah, you all right, little one? Come on.
He did it, guys. She used the universe's glue.
You trying to tell me that this is Benny now?
Mm-hmm. Ask it a question. Yeah, see? It's Benny.
Benny? Oh, this has been a day.
I told you it's only gonna get weirder.
And you feel very sick. And you feel it start to retch, Walter. Like,
Oh, I put it down.
No.
and it retches up a bunch of bits of glowing mushroom pieces and just big chunks of them and lots of them. The glow is dulling down. And then Benny, you're not even sure if you can hold your form much longer. It's
I don't think she's trying. I almost feel like the de-transformation happens while she's throwing up. Like as soon as her body starts to relax,
that's
she
excellent.
transitions.
While she's retching and throwing up mushrooms, her body starts transforming into a girl, and and you see its legs splay out into a human form, and oh my gosh, it's like a werewolf fox.
What in God's green earth?
Clothes
I
and all.
told y'all.
Fascinating.
Write that down. Write that down.
Not
Is what he
everything was the shrooms. I was right.
So Benny, like, as soon as she stops throwing up, she like turns to like be seated, but also like pushes herself back towards the wall away from you all. And is just like, you can see the exhaustion and spoiler, she couldn't really feel emotions. And just like the last few hours of nothing just come onto her. And it is just, she's as small as you've ever seen Benny. She is like curled up and
I think Tegan's just gonna like scoop backwards on the mattress and just like tap the mattress. Like, oh.
I think Walter would probably scoop her up, kind of like the daughter vibe, father daughter connection thing, and just kind of like, you're all right now. You're all right. Scoop her up and put her on the bed.
she for about a half second resists, but then like she doesn't resist. But there is just a hesitation that you might expect from somebody who's been an orphan their whole life. Unless there was another idea. I think she's almost asleep when you put her on the mattress.
Sure. Erwin, you start hearing the voices again, and they end after a few minutes, and you hear very clearly, "What is that?" And then they're all gone.
What is what? Damn you!
Is Doc okay?
Nothing. It's nothing. I'm fine.
You sure?
Everyone's fine.
The universe. That's all.
I don't know. I'm not on streams anymore. I don't hear it.
I've just been sniffing too much universe glue.
Yeah. Somebody has. And how long are you gonna wait in the house before you start traveling again?
Oh, I'd say we probably should give her a few hours of shut eye.
All right. After a couple hours, you see the sun has come up full, and we got a light starts coming in, and you feel a rumble in the ground.
I don't like that.
What are the rest of you doing when she's napping, by the way?
I have pain meds. I'll offer Tegan some. Like, I'm sure it has some kind of after effect. Take these.
Yeah, and you're really thirsty, Tegan, like super thirsty.
Have you ever this is a weird way to describe it, but shoved a bunch of cotton in your mouth?
Can't say I have.
That's what this feels like talking with a bunch of cotton in my mouth, and there's
There,
like no moisture left.
there was a well out in the back.
I'm gonna go get some water. I feel like Benny's gonna need it more than me when she wakes up.
Well, I'll come with you, Tegan.
Okay.
I'll watch Benny.
Go get water.
When
Drink from the haunted well.
when they walk out, or when you see in the shadows and the fire an image like fog in the fire. Oh no, there's no way that was an hour recovery. Like, it was not a recovery. It was an uncomfortable, disconcerting moment in time.
I need so much help.
And you see kind of the fog clear, and there is a mountain, and it groans and shakes. And from it, you see the birthing of colossal worms with eyes trailing mercury tears, turning once verdant valleys next to it into wastelands and echoes of forgotten gods resting in the ashes. And your eyes are wide as you see this happening in the fire, and then it just fades away for a moment, and it leaves a symbol in the space where it was that you recognize from the book. You're not sure which page, you don't remember where it was, but it is definitely in that book, and you know that symbol is there.
Do I know what it means?
You think that it means something along the lines of the future. Out at the well, you step out to go to the well, and it's just a small pump well. It's not like a big hole. So you get out there and you start pumping water up, and at first it of course comes out pretty dirty, ain't been used in a long time, so it's pulling water with particulates of all kinds rolling through. But after 5 or so minutes of pumping, it starts to clear up, and you hear kind of an odd sound coming from the mine. You hear, and from out of the dark, you see a mine car just stick out just a little bit, and then it stops, and then the water starts running clear from the well.
Well, I don't want to terrify you any more than this last couple days has. But there's a like a mine cart sticking out of the mine now that wasn't there when we started pumping water.
I imagine you and I were probably doing that thing that we were doing before. We were like,
Does it look like a normal minecart, or does it look like a pagan modified?
Oh no, it looks like a really old kind of mine cart, like old.
I think it's about time we get out of here, and I don't know if I'd drink that water if I was you.
Yeah. Hey, Walt. While we're out here, I know a lot of weird things have happened and continue to happen. I really hope they're not all connected, but I get this very sinking feeling that they kind of all are. So we might have to figure out what that is, even if we don't want to.
I thought we could just, chop down a tree and be done with it.
Yeah. I mean, we could blow it up. Maybe that blowing it up with fire and things is better than chopping. I feel like maybe that might solve some of it, but
It'd certainly be more fun to watch.
yeah. But I don't really look forward to going. She's just pointing.
Yeah.
And when you look back over at the mine area, the cart ain't there. It ain't there no more. maybe it never was. You're not even sure.
Yeah, so we're just gonna both pretend we didn't see nothing, right?
Yeah, we didn't see nothing.
Okay, yeah. Didn't
Nope.
see nothing.
Nope. I think it's about time we get the doc and get Benny and get out of here, though.
I think we could give Betty a piggyback ride or something and get the heck out. Yep. Don't tell Father B about this place, though, because then he'd drag us back here.
He's already got one exorcism to conduct. I don't know if he needs a second one.
I feel like he's the kind of person to be like, oh, the exorcisms, bring them to me. It is my duty. The church has declared it.
I have a sworn oath against the devil.
Yeah, I mean, y'all think I'm weird for like poking and prodding at the bizarre things I find, but he like really goes after those things. I go back against the bits and bobs. He goes against the whole thing.
When you get back in, you see Erwin is staring at the fire, and his eyes are wide, like not just open but wide, and he looks like he's in a trance. And Benny is asleep next to.
Doc, you okay?
It's gonna be one of those slow reach out and touch the shoulder.
He probably shudders, you know.
Yeah. It pulls you out of what you're seeing.
And
You all right?
we need to get out of here.
Yeah, 100% agree, Dan.
I'm wrong on the same.
That's the first smart thing you've said in 24 hours. Let's go.
No, you misunderstand. We need to leave this area. I mean, everyone here is going to die.
Well, and I ain't ominous.
A what?
The quakes. I think it's the quakes. Something's moving. I know it sounds crazy, but think of everything we've seen in the past few days. Is it really so out there? Something is coming, and when it does, I fear this whole town will perish.
Now, Doc, when you say something is coming, do you mean it's just using things as an entrance? Or when you say something is coming, do you mean someone is bringing something here?
He's definitely not going to say there's a bunch of worms coming. All I know is
Like, is it coming from inside the house, or should we be paying attention to outside the house?
from the ground. I suppose we are right next to the mine. We could be in a particularly dangerous area, but I think when these things come, this thing comes, nowhere will be safe.
Hey, Walt,
Yeah.
Doc, without terrifying the sleeping child, would perhaps, oh, I don't know, a branch size of the bleeding tree that a small little cutting produced a heart that made people drunk, used in a way, make something that we don't want happening, like the Doc's speaking about, happen?
It does all seem a little too does seem a little hard to believe, but almost happening too awful all at the same time.
Can Tegan also connect to the fact that during their walk of shame, they learned about the weird things that Love is doing in the mine with the like, I need more dynamite and I need a bunch of ball bearings or whatever shit she was ordering from the blacksmith?
Yeah, you can think of that. You remember that. In fact, you got to make that dynamite, as a matter of fact. That's kind of on your list of to-dos.
Okay. So y'all know how I disappeared during the party?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
before you get too far into that, into that remembering, is this a conversation we can have while we get away from this place?
Yeah, pick up the cue. That's why.
Okay, all right.
Um. So
Toss Betty over my shoulder. Continue.
All right.
what?
And when you get
Wow.
to the door
Me,
handle, when you
me.
pull it, breaks, and it don't open.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
When you go to pull the doorknob to open the door, it breaks. The doorknob breaks off, and the door seems stuck.
Is there a window?
And for the first time, you realize there is a candle in the other room that seems to be lit. Yeah, there are windows. They have the the wooden slats across them.
I'm gonna pick up that stone I pretended Benny moved. I'm just gonna chuck it out a window.
Yeah. And when you do, it breaks the window. It breaks the glass, but the wood is still there, and it's not big enough for you to climb in between the pieces of wood. I mean, maybe you can break the wood. Who knows? Who knows what could happen. And then you hear a wind kind of rustle through the house. Who's there?
Hmm.
Do I know anything of the history of this house?
This was the house that the person who built the mine used. They and their family apparently were murdered in here by the rumor was the mine owners, but that was never proven, of course. And then no one likes coming in here, so people just don't come. They're kind of spooked by it, I suppose, is the best word for it.
So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking ghosts, but I go to kick the door out.
Can you make
The
me
front door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make me a might check, kick it open?
Could I assist using my training in carpentry to be there, like kick that spot?
I'll just put put some effort in it.
Yeah, I think the effort probably does better. More than carpentry.
Oh boy. Well, I only rolled a 7.
Yeah, it is hard closed. It is like there's a bar of steel running through that door, keeping it locked. Who's
Something
there?
dropped
Hello? Hello? Do you hear this
Answering it.
voice?
Stop answering it, Doc.
You hear it?
If you hear it, he don't hear it.
Been hearing a lot lately. I didn't know if it was just me or you could all hear it.
And through the window, you see that cart coming out of the mine, kind of rolling on the little bit of track that comes out of it. And you see it sitting out there in the gleaming of the sun now. And there's something moved behind it just for a second in the shadow, almost like a shadow. Who's in there? You hear someone from somewhere in the house, and the little candle flickers in the other room.
I'll go to the other room.
I'm not. I'm gonna examine the hinges on this door. If we can't kick it in, we can take the hinges off.
You go into the other room, and there's light coming in here also, but it's on the other side from where the sun comes, so it's definitely not as bright. Benny, you kind of, even though you're tired, you were sleeping rough with like bad dreams, and it's waking you up a little. Or when you get in there and you see that the floor is all dusty and whatnot, but there are footprints in the dust shoe prints to be more accurate. They kind of go here and there and up the stairs and whatnot, go to the door, and the little candle, the light stops flickering and it goes out when you're standing in there. And in front of you, you see a man in the shade of the stairs staring back at you with an axe in hand.
Oops.
And you see him pull his axe back. Can I get an initiative roll from you, please?
Yep.
The rest of y'all just see Professor Hayes sort of, the light goes out from the candle, and then his eyes go bug-eyed big again. You know, that happens with him a lot lately.
That's a 16.
All right. And there's a swing. Can I get a defense roll from you?
Yep. Got the good roll on the initiative. So for this one, 17. Not bad.
All right, nice. You're able to avoid this axe coming down, and the rest of you hear this boom, and pieces of wood from the floor splinter out.
Not a ghost.
Right where Professor Hayes was.
But we don't see an axe.
You don't see an axe. You just see it come down. See the results.
Again.
I told you, if you hear it, you don't.
And Tegan, you see come out of the shadows, because you're able to see spirits, right? When it comes out of the shadow, you see this old man with an axe in his hand. You ought not be in my house! It yells, and you and Erwin hear it when it steps into the light. And it starts pulling its axe back, and Professor Erwin is trying not to be there.
Yank Benny as far towards the door as I possibly can.
And when you
I'm like,
when you
"Child."
pull out of the shadow, yeah, Benny, you kind of wake up and you see everyone kind of chaotically panicking, I suppose, away from the foot of the stairs. And it comes toward you again, Professor Hayes, but it stops when it hits the sunlight area.
Okay. Noticing that, I'll try to skirt around it and get to that sunlight area and say, now, listen, mister, we were just leaving. Our friend was hurt. We needed a place to stay. That's all. You don't have to worry about us.
Get out my house.
Okay.
This house ain't for you and your sort. And
whatever you say.
It tries to step into the sun and sort of stops at the edge again. You see this too, Tegan. The rest of you, though, don't.
Get in the sunlight, y'all. Mad Axe Man. I'm just going to point to the spot.
What's happening?
I'm gonna kind of shimmy like over to where the sunlight is at, and kind of like put Benny behind me between the window or wherever that sunlight's coming from.
It's coming from the other room. This room is the darker room, and it's the more shaded one. The room you were in has enough sunlight that it seems to be mostly in sun.
Well, I either way, I'm still like guarding.
And it steps forward into the light, and you see it sort of become more translucent, Tegan and Professor Hayes, and it sort of loses its what you would think would be corporalness, although it was barely corporal before, and it kind of fades into nothing as it steps forward.
Look, okay, we gotta get out of here. I don't want to blow anything up because no one likes it when I do that. But maybe we could get the wood off these windows and shove the kid through at least.
You could get me out. I don't know if I could make it through to the other side. He has an axe.
But let's get the kid out first, and I'll help you, Duck. Sorry, priorities.
So what are you doing?
I'm gonna see if I can get those wood things off so we can shove the kid
Well,
through.
there's broken glass all around the edges of them, so you could put gloves on maybe and deal with it, but without, you're definitely gonna be cutting your hands up.
No, I'm just going full cut my hands up. At this point, I'm like, get the kid out.
All right.
We already separated her spirit from her body. I do not want to separate her head from her body.
Yeah, so you go to grab and pull on the wood, and you're going to take a damage to your might, lose a might, pulling on them and cutting your hands pretty badly. And then the wood breaks enough that you could squeeze the girl through at least.
I'm going to just make sure there's no glass. I'm like, shove her through.
Yeah, there's going to be some glass. There's no way to clean it up.
Oh, she crawls. She crawls so swiftly.
And you take a might also, you lose a might. Again, actually, probably, yeah, I'll leave it a might. Could have been a speed, because,